My first club experience. And last. So, it was freshman year of college. And because of my high school situation, I was naturally a year older than everyone else in my class. So I went to college at 19. So there was already that sort of like age discrepancy. Like, even though I'm the shortest, so like I look like I'm the youngest, I was always the oldest everywhere I went until getting up to like third year level pretty much, which I didn't have many friends past freshman class at the time. So obviously that made things a bit like naturally awkward going out to stores and restaurants and other places with my friends. Which I have plenty of story times about restaurants and stores if you ever want those too. But to basically put this into perspective of how bad it was my freshman year, we all went to GameStop, because there were some new Nintendo Switch games that my friends wanted to get, and we were all sort of like chipping in to be able to play it together. So I got to the register and I was buying this keychain that I really, really wanted. And this deck of cards that was based off of the show Supernatural. So I get to the register to pay for these items, and the cashier goes, "You need to be at least 17 to purchase these cards." And this was in front of my friends too. So I was just like, well, this is awkward, because now I have to show my ID to this man. So I get carded at GameStop all the time, to put that into perspective. So I'm sure you will understand the awkwardness that came with me going to a club for the first time my freshman year. So there's this one club where it's an 18 plus club. So how it operates is that they would have a college night on Thursday nights for college students. So you get to go in at a discounted rate, but there's an 18 plus section and then there's a 21 plus section. So obviously I'm over here like, I don't really think it's my scene, but my friends convinced me that I should try it at least once, because, you know, you should always try like something at least once before forming an opinion on it, right? So I was just like, okay, fine, like I'll go once, but if I don't like it, promise me not to try and drag me back there. So we all go and get ready in our rooms. Some of us get ready together, because, you know, that's what girls do apparently. And we kind of just hung out for a couple hours, and then by the time we left, it was around 11:30 p.m. Obviously, the best time to go to a club is after midnight. So we grabbed, well, we all kind of like shoved ourselves into one car, so there was like 9 of us in one car. We literally clown card that shit.
Money, money, money.
Desk building stream, let's go.
Sir? Sir? The fuck? Sir, is your wallet okay? Also, you got Chris to yell, money, 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 money. What the fuck? I... Was that your cue to pee pee poof? Oh god. Jesus. I haven't even walked into the club yet, exactly! I do actually want to test something. I want to see if I replay the alert, if it changes this, because I think that might be what have happened the first time. Did you really just come in here to pee-pee point me? Hold on.
Money, 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 money.
Desk building stream, let's go.
Okay, maybe it wasn't that? I have no idea. Alright, I don't know where that extra monies came from when. You know what? If I go to GameStop, I feel like I still get carded. Where was I in the story? Oh god, I'm so disoriented. What the fuck, Yobu? Jesus Christ. Let me go check to see if make sure the desk isn't out of stock. Oh, I feel like I should get the desk now instead of waiting. Oh, he actually didn't get the mouse yet. I see. He's planning to. Oh yeah, there's 9 of us in the car. Thank you. Oh. 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 What? Oh. Okay, yeah, it's still in stock. Sorry, my brain is just not processing this information. Okay, remind me to order that at some point. Okay, back to the story. So, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Wow, that really threw me off. Okay. Fucking Iyomu. So, there was 9 of us squeezed into this car. And I'm just talking like, you know, a regular car, not even an SUV, right? So, because I was the smallest, I ended up kind of just laying across everyone's lap in the back of the car. There were like 3 people in the trunk. It was like one of those open trunks, not like the ones that you open from the outside of the car. It's like connected. Yeah. And then I just, you know, I'm a lap person. I'm small enough, I guess. But yeah, there were like 4 people sitting in the seat, and then I was laying across their laps, and then there was like 1 person on the floor behind the passenger seat and 1 person on the floor behind the driver's seat, and then there were 2 people in the front seat, passenger side, so there was 1 in the actual seat, and then 1. And we had an interesting layout in that car, I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised the cops did not pull us over as well. I think we were just doing a really good job of hiding the fact we had so many people. I may be small enough to be a lap person, but I'm not a trunk slut. So, we start driving to the club, and I'm just like sitting there, heart racing, like, is this really a good idea? Like, I don't really do good at social functionings. I'm not a social person. I don't really like loud noises or being in crowded places because I have oversensory. So what that means is that sometimes my senses can get overloaded based off of certain triggers. Mine is mostly loud noises, or like sudden noises, or I can get claustrophobic too even. So I was just like sitting there just like basically panicking like how this is gonna go. But I'm going with friends, so at least I'm not going by myself. So that took off some of the anxiety just a little bit. As we're driving, we're trying to find a parking garage or something to park at that's free. Cause like there's some that are free to students, but it's hard to find them. So we were kind of just like driving around the city trying to find one of them that was like close enough to the place we were trying to go to. And then we basically ended up walking a little ways and then taking an Uber the rest of the way to get to the club, which was also an interesting experience because again, it's already almost midnight at this point. I had never really been in an Uber before either, so that was an interesting experience. But again, I was not by myself, so that was a plus. And we get to the club. And when we see how long the line sort of wrapped around like the block, I was kind of just like, oh, this place is popular, I see. And as I'm walking past with my friends, and like clearly we're dressed to be out, so like I'm pretty sure most people could assume that we were joining the line. I could just feel all these eyes just penetrating my skin, staring right at me like there's no way this child's getting in. Like there's no way she's old enough to be at this place. So I was getting like all those stares. I could feel it. My skin was burning. I was embarrassed. If I could blush, I probably would have been blushing. So that's how that went. And then I get in the line, and we wait there for about like 10 minutes, 15-ish minutes to get in. And you know, we can hear the music playing from inside the club because they have some speakers outside, so at least you're entertained. So we were kind of like dancing a little bit, and you know, I wasn't trying to flex or anything, but like, you know, I was doing a little like, you know, we have some moves kind of thing. I was really cocky for absolutely no reason. I guess I felt like I had to be a little cocky just because like I was the oldest one there, but it didn't look like I was, so I felt like I had to be extra cocky, you know. I was still getting the stares though the whole time I was in line. And then we get closer and closer. Some of my friends are in front of me, so they get in before I do. And, you know, they get the easy pass, obviously. Now let me tell you. The usher. This man was huge. Okay? Like, buff and huge and really tall. And he literally looks down at me and gives me that, aren't you too young for this kind of look? But he still, like, you know, puts out his hand for, you know, for my ID. He takes my ID and he looks at it. Then he looks at me. Then he looks at it. Then he looks at me. Then he looks at it. Tilts his head. Takes out that scanner thing. Scans it. Because it was my driver's license. Comes up as an actual legit license. Gives it back to me. ushers me in. And I could just hear some people in the line behind me going, "Oh, what?" And I was just like, I mean, I'm old enough, just, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, I guess. So I get into, like, where my friends are waiting for me in the entrance. And I'm, again, getting all of these stairs. I'm pretty sure people wondering how the fuck I got in. I was of age. And, let's just say it was an interesting experience. So, the rest of my friends get in, no problem, and we all go over toward, like, the bathroom, so we all know where the bathroom is. So if any of us lose each other, we could just go to the bathroom and meet up there. But we stayed pretty, like, close together anyway, so it wasn't really that much of an issue, thankfully. And then we get into the actual club. The thing I didn't know is that once you get inside the actual club, it doesn't matter what age you are, because the actual club itself is mixed. So that made things very awkward for me, because I thought I wasn't gonna see any people old enough to drink. Moo. Ahem. So then we get onto the dance floor, and you know, people are drunk. That's kind of the thing. People are drunk. I'm not old enough to drink. I actually waited until I turned 21 to actually drink, because then my other friends would have felt more comfortable drinking with me. Because, like, I would get caught easier if I'm not 21. So I personally made the decision to wait. So there was no drinking happening that night. And I was also the DD. So that was the other thing. So we get on the dance floor. Everything is so loud and overwhelming. I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack, because my senses were so overloaded. And I didn't have my in-ears, so I couldn't, like, put something in my ear and be like, okay, I can deal with this now. So that was a really hard adjustment for me to make. And at this point in my life, I had never been to a concert, unless I was in it, so that doesn't really count. I'm usually not used to being around so many people. I'm not used to, like, really loud environments and, like, all that stuff, so I was experiencing a lot of firsts. So what started happening was that more people started getting on the dance floor drunk. Mistake number 1. So, you know, we're kind of just dancing and swaying, like, you know, just doing the typical, like, I don't really know what to do, so I'm just, like, swaying and just hoping that, like, I'm doing enough, like, you know, that so I won't be seen as weird, but also, like, not super outrageously going, like, it's party time, you know? So, you know, we were all kind of just, like, swaying, and then I see this one guy in the corner of my eye, just, like, slowly snaking his way toward me. So, like, I could see, like, over here in my peripheral vision, I could see this one person just getting closer and closer and closer to me. And I was just like, Oh god, oh gee, oh god, oh my, please don't tell me he's actually trying to come to dance with me right now, because I don't want this, I don't need this, I don't wanna deal with guys, I don't wanna deal with drunk people, I don't wanna deal with people in general, I don't like people, I really don't wanna do this right now, like, please do not. He gets closer. And closer. And closer. Until his chest is touching my shoulder. And then he just stops and stands there. And my friends are just like, the fuck? And he just stands there. And I'm just like, okay, you're really in my personal bubble right now. I feel really uncomfortable, but I don't really know how to say anything. And even if I do say anything, it's too loud, so you won't even hear me. And like, what the fuck? And oh, I do not. I'm recovering from an eating disorder. So again, just stands there. Was he trying to? No. He was like, well, I said his chest, but it's more like under his chest, so like kind of like, he was at least 5'7". Put it that way. So I guess the top of his ribs. It wasn't like exactly, it was somewhere around there. Anyway, so he's just standing there. Literally not doing anything. Just standing there. And I'm just like, what do I do in this situation? Like, I've never been in this situation before. What the fuck do I do? So I tried kind of scooting away just a little bit. Stayed on me. I tried scooting away again. So that wasn't working. So I was just like, do you need something? Like, no answer. So it just got to the point where one of my guy friends who came with was kind of just like, oh, right, buddy, you need to like, and like pushed him away. And like, I was just like, thank you so much for doing that. I had no idea what to do in that situation. And I was just like, what do, you know? So then a few more minutes go by, and I'm just like, oh god, I have to use the bathroom, because I realize we've been here for like, or we've been off campus for like over an hour by this point, so I needed to pee. So, I grabbed one of my girlfriends and was like, I need to pee. Considering what just happened, can you go with me? And she was like, I mean, yeah, duh, like, that's not even a question, like, come on. I need to pee too anyway. So, we start walking to the bathroom, and there's this one guy at the bar, that we walked past, and he literally just puts his drink down, looks at me up and down, and is like, girl, you're so small, I could pick you up. And I was just like, I'm pretty sure you could pick most people up, sir. I don't really know what. Okay. And I walked away. Like, I didn't even say anything to the guy. I was just like, alright, you're just, I'm not even gonna deal with you. So we get to the bathroom, and it's actually really cold in the bathroom compared to out in the club, which like makes sense obviously because there's a bunch of like hot sweaty bodies just like dancing and being in the same general vicinity. So like I wasn't expecting it to be that cold in there, but it was actually pretty decently cold, which I liked because I was getting really hot and really sweaty. So we kind of ended up staying in the bathroom for like 5 minutes because like it was very cool in there. I didn't really want to deal with more people at that current moment. So yeah, we stayed in there for a solid 5 minutes. Yeah, drunk guys are horrible. So we go back out to find our group of friends. And people have kind of dissipated from the dance floor a little bit to go get more drinks, so there were kind of less people on the dance floor, but there were still quite a few, so we had to like squeeze our way through people, you know, kind of sneak our way through. And again, people were staring at me, people were attempting to intrude my personal bubble, to which my friend was like, "Get the fuck off." Do not touch my friend. Which I really appreciate my group of friends for doing that for me, because like obviously like just the nature of my height and my overall like general weight, that happens to me in public a lot. So at that point I had just kind of gotten used to being harassed like that. So it was very, I think, brave of my friends to be like, nah, we're not letting this fly. This isn't happening. So we get back to the group of friends, and you know, we're dancing again-ish. Again, we're just doing that sway thing, kind of just like trying not to use all of our energy here. We're gonna be here a while. Another guy decides to walk up and just starts literally grinding up against my friend without asking, with her boyfriend right there. And her boyfriend just immediately just went like, "You want to try that again, bud?" He ran away pretty quickly, I will say that. And then some of my other friends sort of started noticing that there were people that kept trying to get closer to me from behind me. It's like, obviously I didn't want to turn around and like make it obvious that I knew that they were there, but I knew that they were there because every time someone attempted to get closer to me from behind where I couldn't see, what a couple of my friends in front of me would be like that was kind of our code to be like, "Yo, there's someone trying to like sneak up behind you." And it had gotten to the point where my friends were literally just like, "You know what? Why don't we just encircle you? How about that? We'll just form a dance circle around you and just hide you in the middle of us so people can't see you." So that ended up happening. And luckily for me, that actually worked. They look over my head to warn me, basically. There were so many people being so creepy. It was really, I did not have any fun. Like, I was so worried about people like rubbing up against me unwarranted and like touching me in places because they were all drunk. And like, it was not a fun time for me. That's why it's my first and last club experience. So we stayed there for about like 3 hours, and then we all started getting pretty tired. And the club was gonna close soon. It closed at like 2 a.m. That really is the case. Like, small girls are just prime grabbers. It's really disgusting. Like, even if you're not drunk. That's why I don't go anywhere by myself, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm an easy target because I'm so small. So we start like preparing to leave when suddenly we hear some shouting on the way to the exit. And then all of a sudden, we all literally simultaneously turned around and saw this guy start, like, literally swung at this guy that was right behind us. And like, this was a big dude too, so like, he didn't have any control of his swing. So he did more than follow through. Let's say that. He swung, followed through, and then followed through. So then, I carry a knife. I wish I could have, but we weren't allowed to on campus. So this guy, this ginormous guy that just swung this punch, started like moving forward and basically split our friend group in half because he was gonna ram into us. So me being in the middle of the group, one of my guy friends saw that this was happening, and like I have fast reflexes, but in that situation I wouldn't have gotten out of the way fast enough just because he had much more momentum after that swing than I would be able to get out. So my friend literally, like, I started moving and then he grabbed me and just went like just pulled me right out of the way, and like I kind of fell on him a little bit, but he luckily caught himself and didn't fall to the floor. And he kind of just like held on to me for the rest of the time, kind of just like, you're not fucking getting hurt on my watch. It's not fucking happening, dude. And then the fight proceeded to continue. So we were all trying to run out, trying to like get out of this like area in general, because this was a pretty bad fight. Like, they both started swinging at each other, and then I remember distinctly getting pushed out of the way by one of the security guards while I was trying to get out, and my friend had to catch me again because I know he didn't mean to push me that hard, but he was just trying to get to the situation to calm it, and I was very small. And so I'm just I just get easily pushed over. That's just how it is. So my friend caught me again on the way out. And then we get to the outside of the club, and we're just like, well, that just happened. But that's not the end of the story. There's more. So as the club is closing, half of my friends turned out left early, and we didn't realize, which meant they took the car. So we are now at this club, carless, and we needed to get back to campus. So I know that sounds so bad, but like obviously the communication wasn't that great in the first place. They actually were not drunk because they were all underage, so we couldn't drink at the building without getting caught, obviously. That was just in case they decided to like want to get drinks after the club, but they ended up leaving early anyway, so guess that didn't really matter. And then, oh god, my blanket doesn't want to stay on. Should I just... Whoops. So then we decided, well, we all could maybe chip in for an Uber or something. But, you know, let's just walk a little ways first. At 2 in the morning. So we can pay less for one. So we start walking. And then we see this guy driving around in a golf cart. And he drives up to us and is like, hey, you guys want a golf cart ride? Which, like, normally it would be sus, right? But they had, like, an actual, like, business sign on the golf cart, so it wasn't just some, like, random dude on a golf cart. It was not just a random dude on a golf cart. It was an actual business. We called the business to make sure it was legit. We checked the website. We called the manager just to make sure, and he was just like, hey, I can give you like a ride to this nearby restaurant. And like they had a student discount deal. So we were just like, hey, I mean, there's like 5 of us here. Like, if we get kidnapped, at least we're in a group, right? So we get on the golf cart. The whole trip was like $1 with the student discounts, which honestly, pretty dank. And he drove us to this restaurant, and he let us off. And we were just like, you know, we're hungry. Now that we actually think about it, it's probably a good thing to actually go to this restaurant. because this restaurant is actually closer to our campus too. So we go to this restaurant. It was literally like called the Midnight Diner or something. And it's open 24/7. Pretty dank. So we went to this diner and we started eating food. Like we did actually get food. I got like this side mac and cheese bowl, which I thought was gonna be small, but it was actually a decent size for a side. And me being a broke college student, that was all I could really afford. So then my friends were like, you can't eat just that. And then they kind of just like gave me a little bit from their plates to kind of make up for it. Because they all got like actual meals and I just got like this side of mac and cheese and that's all I got. So my friends were like, we're not letting you starve. That's not happening. So I got like a fourth of a piece of steak, like 4 chicken nuggets, and like 2 chicken tenders on top of my mac and cheese. And I was just like, you guys are too nice. And we all ate food. And then by this point we were just like, well, we should probably Uber back to campus. So we call an Uber to pick us up from the diner. And at this point in the night, I'm just like, man, that food coma is really starting to set in. Like, I hope I don't, like, fall asleep or, like, pass out from my oversensory, because either of those would be absolutely terrible at this current moment. The Uber shows up. We squeeze 5 people in this Uber, and I look at my bank account, and I have $10. And I look at my friends, and they look at me, and they're just like, it's okay, we got you. And I'm just like, I feel so bad. And they're just like, you know what? It's totally fine. You know what? You can cook for us. You can make graphics for us. Like, you can make music for us. You can do any of those services. You can do photography, whatever. You can pay it back that way. We understand. I only had $10 in my bank account. So we take this Uber, and the driver is like, do you have any song requests? To which an overwhelming majority of the people I was with said K-pop. So then we start jamming to K-pop on the way back to campus. And it was around the time I started doing more like K-pop dance covers. So obviously I was more into K-pop at the time. I'm still into K-pop, obviously, but like, I'm not as into it currently as I used to be, because it's just, there's too much now. So yeah, 3 a.m. jam, exactly. It was probably about 3:45 in the morning at that point. We get back to campus, it's like 4:20 cap. And we all get back to our rooms. And oh my gosh. I walk into my room, right? My roommates were not in the room, surprisingly. So I got undressed, changed into pajamas, and as I was I wore a romper. As I was putting my romper in the laundry basket, I realized why so many people may have been trying to sneak up on me. And that was because a button on the back of my romper popped off. So that was that story. This was first semester freshman year, by the way.